Share my screen.
Okay, actually, I just went and I uploaded this set to YouTube, so it would
Oh,
be like not as ass to navigate through.
okay. Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah, there it is.
YouTube.
Like a cool animation where
All right, cool. Yes, that's great. YouTube. Ad blockers apparently not allowed.
Wait, really?
Yeah, that's what YouTube just told me. Oh, am I sharing my screen? I'm not.
No. Yeah, it's fun. I haven't had that happen to me yet,
Yeah,
but I
I
have
just
to
got a
say that.
pop up that told me it's not allowed. I was like,
Mhm.
okay.
Okay, let me stuff. Monitors. Okay.
Make sure the voice is recording in OBS too.
Sure.
Uh, say one more thing.
Hello.
Okay, yeah. Okay. All right, cool.
Sweet.
So what about this set?
All right. So I've been trying to think about how I wanted to think about this set. So it was like first first bracket in a bit since Vexitational. Hadn't been playing too much. I was
Mm-hmm.
trying to go in with like some pretty low expectations. But I want to say that I think that I think my edge guards are pretty bad. I think that my recovery was either waffled between being like really good or really bad in this set. So I think that's something to pay attention to as well.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I didn't always play what I did out of my full hop correctly, are
Mm-hmm.
my first thoughts. So there would be times where I would do like a backflip and then I would land, but I think I would lean too often on doing like backflip into like aggressive option and
Mm-hmm.
not always paying attention to Marth distance.
Mm-hmm.
And I probably need to look at like how I act in like in scrapping situations as well.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I think those are my immediate thoughts. I just went over and watched it a few minutes ago just to like rip the band-aid off.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that makes sense. And it also makes sense that if you're if you're doing a lot of backflip full hop, and you also feel like, oh well, you're not playing the scraps right, then that would kind of lead to that because like backflipping or like full hopping a lot kind of like tends itself towards a lot of scrappy interactions.
Yeah. And I think that might be me like not maybe not reacting properly to like what I'm seeing out my backflip. So like I might land and I'll see Marth like kind of stand in front of me, but not so close to where he can just like grab me. And I'll
Mm-hmm.
be like, "Oh, you're not moving." I'll like try to do something at you because you're not giving me enough space. So I feel like I should be able to be aggressive. So
Mm-hmm.
um, yeah, maybe I need to like look at it a little bit more closely though.
Okay, interesting. Okay, well, let's see. Yeah, I think I did see the stream right after the set happened, so I completely missed it.
Hmm. And then I also think that lots of spots for my Texel was not very good,
Mm-hmm.
but that's kind of expected.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, okay. So I feel like a lot of what I saw that was kind of weird was like, yeah, I agree. There's something like weird with the scraps, and but it feels like it's kind of a symptom of you. Like I don't really know how much you're reacting in these full hop situations.
Hmm.
Uh it's weird because like the kind of vibe that I'm getting a lot from these games is it kind of it just looks like you are trying really hard to just go for like whiff punishes basically. But
Yeah, I think
yeah,
that's
but
pretty
then
true.
like when he like but then he just like whiffs a ton and then doesn't really get punished. So there's something like weird about the idea that I feel like, whenever you're like dash dancing a lot or you're like full hopping a lot of times like, like full hop is like a very like basically like a timing soft read.
Hmm.
And then like if you're right, then you get a whiff punish, and then if you're wrong, like then you play a mix up, right?
Right.
But it just feels like most of the time, whenever he misses, you just either aren't like reacting to that whiff, or you're either not reacting to that whiff and getting a punish, or like you are not in position to like actually get your whiff punish.
Right.
So
Yeah, and I think
that's the
that's true. I think if we were to continue to watch the rest of the set, I think you would see a lot of instances where like I think I'm trying to like whiff punish and like I'll go in and like I'll try to like grab Marth like whiffing an aerial, and I think that's usually like not the go-to
hmm
Fox. I think usually you want to whiff punch with like drill or like running shine. So
hmm
part of it is probably like not with punishing with like the right thing. Like I don't know, that grab right there that I didn't do anything to seems like important.
yeah. And then right there, that's another miss. That's another miss. Uh, yeah, we'll just keep watching straight through before going back. Oh, hilarious. Okay, that's good. Yeah, like I mean, that was just a miss China out of shield, obviously, but
Yeah, that's just me like
yeah.
missing. I think I just like didn't read the hit stun correctly or didn't do the hit stun correctly.
Oh goodness.
Yeah, and then just silliness. Yeah, I think that shine I'm supposed to if I'm not gonna react like to that side B like that with back air, I think I'm supposed to just like let Marth drop lower before I shine.
Yeah, I think so. This shine was a little bit weird. I do feel like you grabbed ledge like at about the right time because this is when you want to be grabbing the ledge. Like you want to be on the ledge like when Martha's side being, and then you can punish that.
Hmm.
But I think your ledge grab was just like barely late. So then you like I don't know. It felt like you wore out your wires crossed. Where it's just like
Yeah,
I think
because
after you grab the ledge on his side B, then you do like ledge hop back air. But if you're gonna shine, then yeah, like you said, you gotta wait for him to fall more, and then you can shine him.
hmm and yeah, I think it was I think it was weird with like the timing of how I grabbed the ledge a little bit. I think if I had grabbed it slightly earlier, that like 9 times out of 10 I would have back aired there.
Yeah, yeah,
But
yeah.
I think I grabbed it a little too late for like how I like to back air. So then I like tried to band-aid with a shine, but like I
Hmm.
timed it wrong. I should have let him drop lower because I think I still had enough invincibility to like
Yeah, you were
let him drop a
definitely still
little.
invincible a little bit,
Yeah.
and he couldn't have, or it's like you're invincible enough because he definitely couldn't have gotten like another hitbox out to hit you in
Hmm.
time. Yeah, so like these are all the spots where it's just like I don't know. He like whiffs down. This is like an example, and it wasn't really down tilt in the first game, but it was like the
It was
first
like
game.
fair
Yeah, he would just
and
whiff
yeah.
like a million like double fares or something,
Mhm.
and then we wouldn't do anything about it.
Yeah, and I think this is like a common thing in Marths that I struggle against. Like the ones that'll just like bam fucking hitboxes and then I'm like I don't know if I'm like too afraid to like commit to like actually whiff punishing and like I don't know if I'm looking for them to like okay, you move forward and then I'll do something, but I don't know, something about whiff punishing in my head is like especially with punishing like Spaceys or Marth doing stuff like this, I'm like, well, I don't want to be wrong. And then like if I keep getting down tilted, I feel like I'm just taking percent for no reason. And if he decides to like, I don't know, like fair or nair or something, then that feels bad. So I don't know. I feel like sometimes like I want them to like extend more, and I'm not willing enough to like take the play that I've already like played for. I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah. I mean, so this is a spot where the full hop is very good. I mean, you're not getting hit by this down tilt. You're also not like necessarily punishing it. Uh, I do think Fox is probably like slightly favored in this position because of full hop. Because like I don't know, the way full hop works is basically like if they do anything like right then immediately, then full hop owns them, right? But if they like dash back and then wait, then they get the opportunity to hit you. Or
Right.
just like waiting in general is like what gives you the edge versus full hop.
That makes sense.
So, I mean, if you just feel like very confident on their timing, then I would say that then you can just like kind of set up you can just time your full hop to be a whiff punish on that on the lag of their move basically.
Hmm.
Like here, like he's not really doing anything like he's not like dash dancing. His timing isn't very variable. He's just like down tilt, down tilt, down tilt,
You
down
just
tilt, and then he does
yeah.
like this drift back fair. But it's just like I mean, obviously he down tilted like 3 times in a row or something, and so yeah, so he down
Yeah.
tilted 3 times in a row, and you could have like if you feel confident that he's gonna like do a move, even like neutral air or like fair, you can if it's just like done immediately, you can
Hmm.
just like full hop over.
Sure.
Okay, so let's see this one. Is this full hop lost in there? Right, it's like kind of hard to tell if you did a move. Yeah, I think you. I really
I
can't tell.
can't see it at all.
I
It's so
really can't
bad.
tell if you did a move.
That's really funny.
I really can't tell if you did a move. I feel like you probably didn't do a move because like this is pretty much the exact part of like Mercenaire that you want to hit, right? Like
Hmm.
it's that like kind of like soft area where I do feel like if you had like neared him or like down aired him in this position, then like you would have actually been able to avoid the sword and hit him.
Right.
But maybe you
But
didn't.
it's also, yeah, but also like I think this percent I see it and I see the narrative and like I think my issue is like hitting him. There's nothing that hitting Marth right there like with feels particularly good. Like if I drill, he hits the ground before me, and I like probably get grabbed or something. Bear doesn't feel like it gets me anything, and up air feels like weird. So like I guess I also don't know like what exactly I like what I wanted to get out of that full hop, which probably makes me feel not as good about it.
And that's definitely one of the limitations of full hop, right?
Yeah.
It's just like honestly, like unless if they like really give you something, it's like obviously sometimes. I mean, like at a higher percent, you can get something like back air and then like some sort of tech chase out of it. But like the limitation of full hop is that like you whenever you full hop, you usually can't like do much after it.
Yeah, it's hard to get something like really like juicy out of it.
Yeah. So I mean, that's why you don't see people just only full hop the whole time, right? Then
Hmm.
they do like at this they would do like some sort of like run forward like wave dash down thing, and then like or they would like try to do like a down tilt, obviously CC grabbable, but like this is where you see people do more like CC approaches or short hop approaches or like try to call a jump with up smash
Hmm.
because like you said like full hopping is kind of just like tagging them especially at this percent.
Yeah, this it feels like it feels very like nickel and dimey, and a lot of the time I feel like a lot of the times like I don't really enjoy like nickel and diming Marth.
Yeah.
It feels like I don't know. It feels like at super low percent, I usually want like a drill on grounded Marth, or I want to grab, not so much like stray back airs and like
hmm
Nair, unless like I'm hitting Marth out of the air with Nair.
yeah, I agree that nickel and diming is just generally not like a winning strategy against most
Hmm.
characters that have a good punish game because it's just like you don't really make your opening count right, and it's just like zoning or like just playing runaway forever is just like almost never a winning strategy.
For sure.
Yeah, so there you got the dash dance grab you wanted, but then you dropped it.
Yeah, I would say like one thing that I've noticed a lot when I was watching this set is like that a lot of the time when when I get like the up throw up air and I'm like landing on a side platform, I feel like I'm dropping that extension a lot. So I think I do it like I think I dropped like twice back to back here, and I did it a few times game one as well. So I think that's like something I also need to probably practice more.
hmm Yeah, the vibe that I kind of get from like watching this game and the previous game is that like your punish game right now is like very very dependent on hitting up throw up air, and whenever they either SDI the up air or you just like mess up your execution or something, or you don't get up air, it feels like you just don't really have an idea of like what to do from there.
Hmm.
Like this was obviously a good crouch cancel. This is this is why people don't full hop that much at zero. And then you got stuff like that.
Right.
But yeah, see, he's just like kind of like spamming hitboxes,
Yeah,
and
and
then
this
you're
just
like really really far away. This is all like perfect range for Marth. Like I think if
yeah.
I'm Marth and I feel like Fox is like this distance, it's like half the stage away from me. This
Mhm.
is my happy place.
Right. Yeah, and that's real. And I think what I struggle with, I think I think I dash dance a lot, but I don't think I always dash dance with like the purpose of combating like hitbox spam like this. So like I remember like I had a set at like Coinbox versus 100 grand or something, and he would similarly also just like spam short hop double fair and shit like that in front of my face, and I would be like, I am just like getting walled, and like I didn't have the proper answer for combating it when like I don't know. I feel like it shouldn't be that hard. I feel like I'm overcomplicating it by like maybe like being too far away or like trying too hard to like press on Marth at a bad timing. I don't know. I think it's something I need to look at.
Yeah, I do think like I do kind of think it's like a spacing thing because you it's just like Marth wins at this range, I think, and
Yeah.
you want to be like a little bit closer to them because it's like with Marth, obviously, like you need to be like right next to him, like right here. This would have been a good spot for you to be if you hadn't just like misplaced this just barely, like this spot that
Yeah,
you
I
get to.
barely got close by this
Yeah,
forwarder.
right here. If you had just been right there, that would have been perfect
Right.
because and this ties into a lot of like what you brought up earlier where you're just like, well, I want Marth to commit more, and basically what he does is he just does a bunch of moves in place and then sometimes they're drifted back, and then he's just like, I don't care, I'm just like living my best life, I'm not really trying to do anything, and then eventually you'll like run into the sword and then I'll get to punish game bot you.
Yeah, and I think that's a thing that I get frustrated about with with melee in general sometimes, where like I understand that like oh I'm playing Fox and I'm like really fast and I can like get in whenever, but I oftentimes feel like oh the other person even when I'm playing like the Ditto is just like playing this like walling nonsense like this walling game and I'm like trying to break into like fucking bank and steal like
Yeah,
the
this is kind of
fucking
what what tournament melee looks like. Like people just like do their like safest like walling option that they can go party time for hitting. Like
yeah
and they just like do that a bunch. It's definitely not like people don't play like that at all in friendlies. Like
no not at
they
all.
like to fight in friendlies, but it's just like it's tournament time. It's just like oh like where's the cool player I was just seeing.
Yeah, for sure.
But regardless, let me back up and get to the spacing. Yeah, he's just like so it's just really a lot of drift back, and so if you can get to like like right here or like really right here, then that's the comfortable range for Fox because Marth can't just like do drift back or in play stuff and hit you,
Right.
and he can't do like and in fact like if you're crouching a lot of times like instant aerial may not hit you, so
Hmm.
then then he has to start doing stuff where he like he starts doing drift forwards and later aerials, and obviously all the really good players will be really good at or like really stronger players will be good at covering that. But if someone is just showing you, like, oh, I just do a bunch of like treating hitboxes and a bunch of like hitboxes in place, then I do think that the solution to your problem is twofold. It's like one, you need to get closer to this appropriate range and do the stuff like the wave dash down or whatever to like be able to time your whiff punish, and two is like obviously you need to hit harder.
Yeah. Yeah, and like I said, I was like okay knowing that like oh like some of my punish game things weren't great. I wasn't like really hitting drills very often this set, and some of my conversions, like even when I got grabs, weren't always super good. So I was like that stuff like that. I'm like, oh, I can grind this out and I can get back to like where I know I can be. But yeah, I think my frustrations in the neutral definitely come from like probably just playing spacing wrong a lot of the time and feeling like oh, how do I touch this person that's just like not not trying to hit me, but it's just like swinging their arms in front of themselves and like hoping
Right,
that
right.
like
They
one
want
of their things.
you. Yeah,
They
they're
want me
not.
to let
Yeah,
myself be
yeah,
hit, basically.
yeah. They're not necessarily trying to hit you, but like they want you to hit yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, like this spot is just like you're just like a little bit too far. And it's like that's the way like that Spacies, Sheik, and Marth are, right? Like you actually cannot whiff punish those characters unless if you're basically like right next to them whenever they finish missing.
Hmm.
So it feels like maybe the problem is like I said something wrong earlier when I was just like, oh, like I don't like your reaction spots are a little weird. It feels like uh it's like it's like you kind of like react to it feels like you're reacting to them doing a move, and then by that time it's too late. So like it's not like maybe it's not like, oh well, you're just kind of doing stuff and you're not reacting. Maybe it's more like you're not like reacting to the right things or the right ideas,
Mm,
because you're supposed to be trying to like react to the startup of stuff, as you know.
right.
And so I think a lot of the timings on stuff, like when you get hit by this fair up tilt, uh, it should be here. Yeah, when you get hit by this fair up tilt, I mean, whenever you see Martha jump like this, you like and then like do this fair, you it's like pretty much already guaranteed that you can't true with punish the fair. So obviously you're playing like a post here.
Yeah.
But it feels a lot like hmm, I think when you're whip punishing, you're like trying to react to a miss. I think yeah, I think this is like the general attitude that I'm getting out of the gameplay, which is just like it feels like whenever you're whiff punishing, you're trying to react to a miss. But in reality, it should be more like Marth cannot possibly hit me here, and then you're like setting up a spot where if they attack you, then they definitely won't hit you, and then you confirm off of that instead.
Okay.
Kind of like whenever how you can like lead trap Peach like right outside of her gap attack or whatever, right?
Yeah.
And then it'll just be like Peach cannot possibly hit me here. And if you know exactly how far their move goes, then you can quite literally like crouch right outside of their furthest range or whatever. And if they don't go forward at all, and then it's just like, yeah, you can't hit me, and now I will get a whip punish.
Okay. Okay. That makes that makes sense. And that I think that tracks a lot because I think a lot of what happens with me like trying to whiff punish, like not just against Marth, but in like a lot of matchups, is me like not. I feel like I'm reacting at like the wrong time a lot of the time, and I think like reacting to like a miss versus like reacting to the startup of a move.
That you know is gonna miss. Yeah,
Yeah,
and I
is
think
like a key difference.
there's definitely like nuance to it, right? Where it's just like if you play against like Falco and then he like doesn't fast fall his down air, and then that's how like you get tricked, right? But like uh and so that's how that kind of neutral ends up happening, where you have to like predict fast fall or not fast fall or whatever.
Mhm.
But those are like it should definitely be like an active decision on like I'm picking a spacing that I'm beating, whether it like I'm picking a spacing that's beating no fast fall and that cannot hit me, or I'm picking a spacing that beats uh slow fall and that can't hit me and I'll concede on it, and then I end up losing on fast fall, so on and so forth. I think the way this Marth played was a lot more straightforward with like double fair and like just like not a lot of fast falling almost at all, just a lot of like drift back, like do a move then drift as far back as possible.
Mhm.
And so yeah, if you can be like very sure that he's not going to hit you and then like force him to do later aerials or like or go in towards you, then that's when you can get the stuff where you preemptively stuff him, right? Like, you can just like preemptively up smash him out of the air. Uh and just like paying attention to kind of what those patterns look like. Because like, taking down tilt for Marth's down tilt, for example, where, a lot of the times, like, well, what do Marths like to do out of down tilt, right? They like to do down tilt, or they like to do
Down tilt
down
dash
tilt
back
dash
or
back,
mm,
or sometimes they'll do like down tilt nair,
right.
and that's mostly what it is. And so like with that's why like you can do like full hop stuff because it like kind of loses the dash back. You get an extra reaction point, so you don't have to like lose hard to dash back, and you can beat nair, or and it like covers like soft covers 2 out of 3 options. On the other hand, if you see like Marth land after an aerial, a lot of times, you can see like like a pattern that I do a lot as a Marth player is like, or every other Marth player is like, they'll do like fair and then they'll like dash back a little bit and then they'll re-jump.
Right. Yeah, that's pretty common. Like dash back or like like dash dance with like fair or just dash dance, something like that. So like try to bait
Yeah,
the whip
bait
punish,
the
I
with
guess.
punish and then like punish it with like and then try to hit it with fair or something, and then and you've done this yourself, so you know this, but it's just like, well, what happens if you just like have like a reasonable read that in the post situation he's gonna go fair dash back and then set up another jump for try to do late fair again. Like you probably just run up and down tilt or up smash
Right.
him.
I think that's
And
not yeah, and I think I don't think about like I think that I don't think about like whole sequences like that, if that makes sense. Like
mm-hmm.
I'll think about like I'll think about like the fair, and then I'll think about like the immediate thing after that. And I'll think about like, oh, they might do like fair down tilt or fair up tilt or fair dash back. But I think I only think like two, like the thing and the immediate thing. I don't think much further than that a lot of the time, I think.
Yeah, and I don't think you need to like go super deep into it, but it's just more to kind of like tie into a general theme of like how Marth players fall and
Hmm.
how this player in particular walls is by doing like just like a lot of like drift back air, just like a lot of like double fair, and so like if you know that someone likes to do like it's just aerial and then dash back and then aerial. It's like aerial dash back, and then jump aerial again. And so like whenever you know it's something like that, then you can kind of play like that pattern.
Sure, that makes sense. This game sucks. Hey,
Okay, we can not watch this game if we feel.
I'm like, I'm reasonably down to not watch this game.
Okay, then we will not worry about it, and we will simply go back to game 1.
Yeah.
So yeah, like so let's go into like how he does it. So he likes to do a lot of this. He'll do like late fair and then
And then
immediately
jump
hitbox.
back. Yeah.
Yeah. So like here, late fair and then it's down tilt. Oh, okay. He actually did late fair, late fair. Uh huh. Yeah, you really have to hit that punish, obviously.
Yeah,
But
of
you
course.
already know that, so it's not like I need to harp on it.
Yep.
So he just gets out, then late fair, and then narrows. Like so he just like if you're far, then it looks like he does like a late aerial, and then as soon as you get close, it's just like hitbox time.
Right. That makes sense. Because I'm noticing a lot of like when I'm far, like even right there, he was trying to like he did like full drift forward air,
Mm-hmm.
just to like get the hitbox out as late as possible. Because I don't know, I guess that's like a really hard commitment if you're gonna like do something like that.
Yeah, it definitely is, right? The reason why, like, Marth players, why it's like, Marth players have this whole thing where, like, for years the advice, like, well, don't nair at people, even though it's super good, is just because, that's, like, one of, like, the most whiff punishable things. And it's like, you can definitely whiff punish a lot of these, like, full forward fairs, or you can stuff them. But you need to be kind of like, you need to be like ready for kind of like what's happening there.
Makes sense.
So like you're close, so he's doing instant hitboxes. Yeah, and then as soon as you like he feels like, oh, you're more far away, like he down tilts you, and then you run away to avoid getting grabbed. Then he's just like, okay, I set up late jump.
Hmm.
Mm. I guess this is mixed tech skill. This roll.
Yeah, I think it's supposed to be wave dash back.
Yeah. Okay. Can you up smash on a shield here? I literally do not know.
Let me see. That the
Probably not. It's probably too far.
I think it's yeah, the up air, I feel like no.
Yeah, I feel like it's too far. Yeah, so all of these stuff where it's just like, oh, you just like, uh, this is just a weird scramble. I think a lot of it just has to do with like the pre-positioning being wrong.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good edge guard. Blah blah blah. So he feels confident, and then so he does that. That's good. Here. Yeah, I mean, you were slow, right?
Yeah, for
You were
sure.
slow on this, acting out of this down there. Oh, you
Was
weren't
I
that
that slow?
slow.
I
You
wasn't
weren't. You
that
actually
slow.
weren't slow. You actually weren't slow. I disagree with myself. You weren't slow.
Yeah, maybe
That's a
maybe
weird
just
one.
grab was the wrong option then.
Yeah. Let me look at this.
Because what? Maybe if like run
This.
down like down tilts is an option, I guess. Um, because I guess like I don't know, I think I definitely had frame advantage, but I think the frame advantage that I had was not like grab was the wrong option.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I'm surprised that you can grab that. I'm very surprised. Yeah.
Yeah, I
Okay.
can see that again.
It's the dash back. Okay. So.
Yeah, I think maybe a common thing that's happening is that I can't tell if I'm like dashing too far away sometimes. And he's like, well, I don't know. I feel like I dashed.
I mean, this is pretty perfect.
Yeah, I think I dashed the appropriate amount flanked away. I think that fair was probably just not like dash dance punishable. At least not the way that I think I had to already have been dashing forward, but
Yeah, I
would
agree
have
with
gotten
that.
hit. I would have gotten hit if I was already dashing back forward.
Yeah, you would have had to be like in the other direction here where you weren't dashing forward, but he was like already missing on your dash forward.
Yeah, I would have. Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm. And then you went for like super overshoot, like running shine or grab here. And he just like turned around and grabbed you out of the running shine. I mean, that's fine. This is like that's
Yeah, I'm
like
okay.
kind of what's supposed to happen.
Yeah, I'm okay with losing this as like a mix-up, I guess.
Yeah, that one is okay. It's okay for this one to happen. And it's just like, for the edge guards, I mean, there were a few missed edge guards, but really it's just like, I don't know, you honestly did like not hit him very much.
Yeah.
But like, stuff like this where you like went way out of the way.
Yeah, here I clearly like ran too far away.
Yeah,
And I should
and
have
then
been
you
like,
recognize that, so you like did this like full hop shine stuff instead. But then it's just like it's a weird scramble, and then like somehow he like gets away unpunished like every single time.
yeah, I clearly like a lot of the time am just like running too far away when it comes to like trying to like avoid things. I think probably a thing that I need to be better about is like only dashing away as far as I need to like not get hit by something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So you get this nice thing here, but then oh my
Oh,
god,
I grabbed?
what?
What is that?
So, your shine miss? What happened here? It looks
I
like
gra I
you
grabbed.
shielded.
Yeah, it looks like
Yeah, you grabbed. I saw a
yeah,
video.
I did start to grab. Maybe I held my shield button for my L cancel slightly too long. But
Yeah, or maybe you like meant to try to like do turnaround grab.
maybe. No, but I don't know why I feel like I wouldn't shield grab in
Yeah,
that
that makes
situation.
sense. But now now you're just getting punishment, right? So like, yeah,
Yeah.
your shield comes up here, and then you go for a grab. That's very strange.
Yeah, it feels like sometimes especially like on my punishes, I think it feels like an awareness thing.
Yeah, and now you hit like up throw up air, and it's just like woo,
It's like woo
everything is
box.
nice.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, missed the shine
Yeah,
of shield. We talked
yeah, that
about that
was
one earlier.
myself flawed.
Yeah. So let's see, because I have a feeling this probably shouldn't have played out like this too.
Let me see.
So he just goes for up the outer shield. It knocks you off. I guess he does ledge hop counter. Yeah, and then you tech it. Yeah.
Yeah, and then it's weird. I think it was weird. I like land on Randall, but
Yeah.
I think like I think the fact that he did counter the first time maybe should have like primed me to think that he would do it again, and then I like choose a different up B angle. Like I think straight up probably doesn't activate the counter there.
Yeah, either straight up or when you hit the hit. Obviously, like when you hit the tech, then like you could practice the side B at face height.
Yeah.
That's a really good one, obviously. It's very strange. Okay, got the grab, messed up the throw. Yeah,
Nice.
and this is like the kind of weakness of like the like shining
That
Marth
shine
out of
is
the
bad.
air is like
Yeah.
pretty whack. Yeah.
Yeah, it should have been like up tilt
Mm-hmm.
instead, I think.
Oh, oh, there's a CC punish here for sure.
Yeah, I think it's near up tilt for sure.
Yeah. And then I think you can like CC the snare and down tilt him or something. And this is like, so this is a really good example of like the punish on the up tilt or an immediate hitbox. So let's see the spacing here. Yeah, it's definitely a lot closer than it was whenever you got fear up tilted later in this game.
Like right here,
So
right?
like you're
Yeah,
here,
there's a clear spacing difference,
yeah. In the
much
other
farther away.
situation, you were like all the way over here.
Yeah, it talks about that.
Mm.
Yeah, and then even that situation, like I wake up and he like just starts jumping at me like immediately. I feel like I should definitely be better at recognizing like Marth just like jumping or like recognizing anyone just like jumping, I guess.
Yeah.
Like I don't know, Marth definitely shouldn't be like just short hopping at me on my wake up.
Yeah, that's like a very confident thing to do. Like, what
Yeah.
does that mean? It means I think for sure Fox will act defensively, right? Either I'm
Yeah.
doing a spot dodge or a dash back if I'm jumping
Yeah.
at his wake up.
Yeah, and like I didn't even like spot dodge or anything. I think I just like wake up and dash back.
I think you are like generally like very very defensive in these spots. Okay, yeah, see, perfect exact spacing, drop the punish. Mm-hmm. Oh god. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I kind of think that your problem with the set is that you struggle a lot with like kind of the way that you're playing right now is maybe like too too much. It requires too much for your opponent to like whiff badly.
Sure. Yeah, I think that makes sense. I think a lot of the time I'm looking for like them to whiff something big. If they don't whiff something big, then like I don't care. But like
Yeah.
I don't know, clearly he's not like whiffing big stuff. So that means I have to like adapt and find like I don't know, like either like play closer and like be more willing to like be wrong, but like actually whiff punish something.
Yeah, you can definitely like get you shouldn't be so afraid of the scraps. Like Fox is good in scraps, so definitely be willing to play the scraps more against, especially against characters like Marth. Like being close to a Marth obviously like makes it actually harder to get hit by his big hitboxes.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I do agree that like it feels like you're basically waiting for him to whiff S smash or dash attack, but then he just like never S smashes or dash
Then he
attacks.
never does it. So then I'm just like dash dancing way too far away for nothing while he just gets to like do safe stuff far away and never get touched for it.
So I think you should try to do more dash dancing. Like, I think you shouldn't. I mean, this is actually true for the Ditto too, in my opinion. And actually, a lot of people don't agree with me when I say this. But like, I think that like it's kind of like whenever you play against like Sheik, you really don't want to be just like playing outside the range of like dash attack the whole time, because then you're like outside the range of anything, and then they just get to like slowly eat your space with like fair and forward tilt, and then you'll never be able to do anything about it.
Right.
It's more of like an adjustment that you make if you see they like to do the big swing in those spots. Then you can get it. But in general, it's just like try to be more so outside the range of like Marth doing like like the jump forward, drift back in the air or something.
Right. And I guess that should be like me adapting to like what like Anakin is showing me here. If he's not showing me like dash attack, and if he's not showing me like random forward smash, which I like, don't think he really does at all the entire set, then that should probably be changing like my EV in this situation. Like
Mm-hmm.
if I'm seeing like fadeback aerials, if I'm seeing down tilts in place, that probably means I should be like registering that, and like I should be
Yeah.
more willing to play closer if I want to like if I still want to play like a whiff punishy kind of style. I still need to like
Yeah, I think
I
that
need to be
goes.
positioned to actually whiff punish what the person is doing.
Yeah, it goes back to like the pattern stuff that we were talking about, where it's just like whenever you do like an overshoot up smash, after Marth does an aerial, a lot of time, it is a call out on them like dashing back and then setting up a jump for another late aerial, and so it's kind of like kind of like the other conversation we had about like kind of like categorizing and putting players in boxes
Mm-hmm.
and trying to like skewing towards like being able to beat that box. I think, yeah, and then you can also try to like practice evaluating like what kind of player they are, and then doing that. Then like doing your spacing like really really quickly, and then once you do that, like don't change it unless if they change first.
Sure, that makes sense.
So yeah. And it's just like there is. I do think like later in this, it's just in this game, you do actually show, uh, you do actually show the. You get a lot more like whip punishes, but ultimately, okay, yeah. So yeah, ultimately, like he just like whiffs up. That's like the only thing he whiffs badly. He like whiffs up the really badly.
Yeah, Jay whiffs that, and then like he actually like
So it's like
whiffed that one grab at the very end that
okay,
I actually punished.
yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, I would say like for the takeaways and the homework is just like definitely like go and try to be closer, and then like try for more like you can go like out of shield or you can go like crowd cancel punishes.
Mm-hmm.
Um, for the full hops, I think you should just start like doing more things, like not as just like safe defaults, but like as like actual like soft reads on things that they're likely to do, right? So like when you're full hopping, I don't want you to like full hop as in it's just like, well, this is a very safe thing to do, and then if they overextend, they dash forward too much, and
Mm-hmm.
then I can just like land on them with my down air or my back air if they're at higher percent, and like get that. Like you don't want to be like full hopping around, like just being like waiting for them to fuck up. You want it to be more like, oh, I'm full hopping at this timing because I think, or I'm like full hopping here because I think they're likely to attack at this timing. Or
Okay.
I'm dash dancing. I dash into this space because I think they're likely to attack like right in front of this space. Uh, try to do it more like, yeah, try to do it more things as like soft reads rather than just like, well, I spam this as a safe default.
More than like a preemptive type thing.
Yeah. I mean, because like it's kind of like how like a while ago like we talked about like how it was just like, oh, like Marth just like nair by default and there's the win button or whatever, right?
Yeah.
And the problem with that, which I eventually figured out, was like, I mean, nair is a very safe button, but it's just like, and then like even though they have to like read it. The problem with it is like you're still like giving them something to read. You just have like one fixed timing. You don't get to do anything. You're just like having a default that can still be read, even though they have to do something to read it.
Okay, yeah.
So it's the
So
same
like,
thing with like full hop or dash dance or whatever.
okay, so
And
yeah, a default
yeah,
that can be read is still like,
yeah, it's
so
still a
like it still
default, right?
carries riff. Yeah.
Yeah. As opposed to like if you just gave yourself like more opportunities to react to yourself being right, other than like they have to be ob-
Right.
obviously wrong in order to do it.
Okay, that makes sense. I think a lot of the time, the way I'll play is that like I'll play in a way that'll be like, oh, I'm going to like do this thing, and if I see something that I want, that's sick. I'll just like punish it. But I don't think I very often play in a way that's like, oh, I'm going to do this thing that like kind of beats like options A, B, and like maybe slightly loses to C, but like generally still has like good EV. I think I generally play more to like keep myself safe than to like necessarily like beat something that like the other person is doing.
Yeah, I think you should do more things to try to like just get like baby reads on what they're doing, and uh think of it like and like I think basically all the top players kind of play like this, where it's just like they just have like a bunch of like reasonably safe things that they do that are like traps, and then
Mm.
they like do it on the suspicion that you'll fall into the trap, and then they like start it up, and they'll look at it and be like, okay, did they fall into it? Did they fall into it? And it's like, oh, you fell into it, now I punish you. But then if there's like, oh, you didn't fall into it, okay, I'm gonna go away and do this other thing now, and like set up a
Right.
trap for this other thing. And so yeah. So I think basically all top players kind of play in that way, and a lot of the times it's like the traps are just for like you want to like set up your traps so it's like for the most supremely obvious things. Like, the most egregious examples are like, you knock someone down and then you run up and shield because you're setting up a trap on get up attack, or like you dash dance like in and then right out of get up attack to bait that punish.
Mhm.
Uh, and so it's not really like knowledge checking. It's just like obviously it's just like uh give me the thing, and then you can be like very, and then because they're traps and they're all like give me the thing that I want, whenever they do the thing that you want, then you can be like very ready to pounce on it.
Right. You can be like, I'm looking for this, I'm looking for this, I'm looking for this, and then if they do it, you're like, sick. I get the thing that I like have prepared for this response. But it
Mm-hmm.
also makes me think of like I remember you talking about like a fiction lesson where you were
Yeah, the
talking about like
social media
the
thing.
social
Yeah.
media thing where you like don't spend too much time just
Mm-hmm.
staring, looking at for one thing. You should ideally be like switching from thing to thing depending on like how the situation changes. Because if you don't get like one thing for long enough, you probably just like end up in end up in bad spacing eventually, probably.
Yeah, you don't want to force the same thing. You want to switch apps. I think one of the easiest characters, or like any character where they like has a pattern that like starts with something, like Marth starts with late fair or starts with down tilt a lot, then that's something that you can like figure out your traps for more easily, as opposed to like some bullshit like Fox where it's just like
Hmm.
anything can happen at any time.
Right.
Like I think Falco is a good character to practice traps on, right? Like you can be like, you can,
Are you like laser dare Falco, or are you like laser Falco, or like
yeah.
etc.
Do they do like approaching laser, or they do like laser dash back, and then just like try to like fine tune your reactions and your like setups. So just be like, I think it is more like traps and setups than it is like raw reactions, where if you like, Falco lasers you, and then if he jumps forward at all, then you fucking up smash. You just, right? But if
Right.
he doesn't jump forward, then you will hopefully be able to stop yourself from up smashing. But I don't I don't think any reasonable human would be able to expect you to be like, oh, like he didn't jump forward. Okay, I'm gonna like running shine or something after it or whatever, or like I'm gonna do the overshoot there. It's just like
Right.
I'm right. I do the thing because they fell into the trap of jumping forward, or I'm wrong. I stopped myself from doing the thing.
Okay. I think that makes sense. Because another thing is like, I think in like in my brain that like I know the answers to like a lot of situations. So I think what happens is that like I'll play in a situation where I'm like, okay, it's like using Falco as an example. Okay, like, all right, Falco does approaching laser. He's like so far away from me. If I see jump forward, I'll like up smash or like dash back. Or if I see like them dash back, I dash forward. And I think I try to like keep too many like
Mm-hmm.
answers in my head at the same time. So I think that like introduces like brain lag, if that makes
Mm-hmm.
sense.
Mm-hmm.
Where I'm
Yeah.
like, I'm not looking to beat one thing. I'm looking to like potentially beat like a bunch of things. And that probably makes like all of my individual answers a little bit worse.
Yeah, if the actions are like too different or separate, then that's very very difficult.
Yeah.
Uh, just set up like yeah. So set up traps that like cover like multiple reasonable things. Like up smash, take laser up smash covers them doing approaching laser and like approaching with like a late area.
Hmm.
So you can like cover multiple things, and then you're like pretty neutral against dash back. Uh, and then you lose really hard to like waveland back stuff.
Right.
But definitely I would say don't try to be able to beat everything all at once,
Hmm.
because that's like almost always impossible. There are very few situations where you'll be able to like react to everything and beat everything. Just like be right, or just like react to being right by executing, or and react to being wrong by stopping yourself from doing the thing.
Right. That's fair. I think that's something that I can probably like I can definitely control better. I can I think I can more frequently be willing to like cover one thing or like one or two things and be at least safe from like a third thing instead of like wanting to like mediocrely cover everything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and this will definitely also help in terms of punishes, because then you get to set it up so that it's just like when you're right, you're like really right because you get like the opening that you wanted rather than like soft back air or something.
Hmm. That makes sense.
All right, cool.
I'm just
Uh,
typing
yeah.
notes.
Let me